The Congress has come out all guns blazing against Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar after he claimed that some former Prime Ministers had compromised the country's deep assets. The Defence Minister, while releasing a weekly on national security, said he did not give details about the Coast Guard operation involving a boat coming from Pakistan, as the source of information might be compromised. He even taunted the Congress party for seeking details on the rogue boat incident. The government had, remember, sought to blame Pakistan for carrying out illegal activities in Indian waters.
You have to build assets, and you have to build deep assets. Deep assets are assets which has to be created over 20 years, 30 years. दुर्दैवाने इथं या देशात असे प्रधानमंत्री होऊन गेले की त्यांनी जे डीप असेट सुद्धा कॉम्प्रोमाइज केले. मी नाव घेत नाही, अनेक लोकांना माहिती आहे. इट्स नॉट इझी. सांगायला सोपं असतं, तुम्ही पलीकडे जा, तिकडे कॅम्प असतील, कॅम्पवर काहीतरी करा, काय करा नाही काय करा. Unless you have deep assets, you cannot act. त्यामुळे any nation which really considers its security as priority, अशा प्रकारचा विचार करू.
And Brijesh Pandya, Deputy Editor, now joining us live on the story. Brijesh, the Defence Minister making this a pretty explosive allegation there, and the Congress obviously going hammer and tongs at him. What do you reckon is going to be the BJP reaction to this? The party high command, do you think they're going to be pulling up Manohar Parrikar, or what kind of justification does the party really have for allowing its Defence Minister to make a comment like this in the first place?
Well, I think the party is going to back Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, and we have already got a statement from BJP which says that the Congress does not need to look more far than recent Prime Ministers. So obvious there's an inference that we are talking about a Prime Minister of the late vintage. But the fact of the matter is that the Defence Minister will definitely have to clarify what exactly he meant by deep assets and who are the Prime Ministers he is alleging have compromised national security, because it's a very, very grave charge, very explosive charge, and I don't think the opposition will let go of this particular charge and let it go, because it's a very potentially politically explosive charge as well. So we are going to see a great deal of bickering between the Congress and the BJP over this particular charge levelled by Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar.
But Brijesh, let's just go into the specifics here. Let's just actually, if you can shed light on what specific instance or perhaps example that Manohar Parrikar was actually referring to when he made this charge.
Well, nobody knows, because he just said that that the former prime ministers have compromised deep assets of the country and national security. So nobody knows exactly which particular example is the Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar referring to, or which Prime Minister he had in his mind when he said that the former Prime Ministers have compromised national security. It was a very vague statement. It did not, other than making a very politically explosive charge, it did not dwell deep into the specifics as to about what kind of incident or what exactly which file he had read which prompted him to say so in the public domain, because usually these kind of charges aren't traded in public, and had it not been for the political mileage, I guess these are internal dealings which the Defence Minister or the Home Minister does, and they handle it on their own. But for the Defence Minister to come out in the open on a public platform to allege this kind of these kind of grave serious charges, I think the political temperature of the country, of the capital, will definitely rise further vis-a-vis this particular episode.
But not to go into any conjecture here, Brijesh, but perhaps could this comment be, a face saver of sorts, considering the Defence Minister didn't exactly at the time reveal a lot of information about, remember, that rogue boat that tried to intercept, Indian waters?
Well, there'll be a bit of a conjecture, but yes, Defence Ministry was found napping. In an interview which was given to Headlines Today, Karan Thapar, the Defence Minister made a statement which was found very bizarre by most of the strategic community, when he said that those boatmen might have consumed cyanide, and it was, the government didn't have one theory right from the start to the end on this particular boat issue. So the government definitely was embarrassed. There were several newspapers which did investigative reporting and said that that there are several discrepancies between the version dished out by the government of India and the version of what actually happened on the sea. So definitely government was embarrassed on that particular episode, and but this particular charge, if the government is trying to compensate